have a conversation here. So this is our weekly live Facebook interview with real estate investors in the I-81 corridor and that are in our networking group and that are also on the Facebook page. And this is our third interview, and I started this up because we have so many people in our group, and we have a lot of people doing some cool things in real estate. And I thought it would be cool to get people's stories out and kind of see what everybody's doing. And you know, the whole reason for the group is to make connections and network together and be able to do bigger things together inside that network. So that's what this is all about. Probably everybody knows me by now. I'm Mike and myself run the I81 Real Estate Investor Group. We have a meetup that meets monthly. And our guest is Greg, and I'm going to let you introduce yourself, and then we can have a little conversation about real estate investing.
Hey, great. Thanks, Bill. So, yep, I'm Greg, and usually my wife, Candace, Kell. So we go together down to the I81 group in Martinsburg. And I guess we found it about a year and a half ago. And it's just been really good to be able to connect with the people there, to hear their stories, to get inspiration, and even just to see the deals passing around and trying to get in on those deals. So we're excited for it. We're thankful for you and Mike, and just for the content that you guys bring.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Greg. So your real estate investing journey has kind of just started, it sounds like. Is that the case? Just recently, in the last couple of years or last year or so?
Yes, yep. We purchased our first investment property as a flip. Actually, just came up on a memory in 2017. So
Okay.
5 years ago was our first purchase, and we've been just kind of slow chugging along since then, but learning a lot since we have had that first purchase, and just going towards that goal of having cash flow that Candace can retire and be at home a little bit more, and then eventually myself also to be able to just give myself free to the church. Yeah,
I think that's very common for people that find real estate investing. That's kind of the two things you have. You want the financial freedom, but you also want the personal freedom that it gives you. And you know, some people can reach that a little bit quicker than others, and that's what this group is all about, like trying to help people along that journey and making those connections and bringing that education so that people can get that financial freedom and that personal freedom. That I know that's what Mike and I do what we do for. Those are the two goals. We want freedom for ourselves, of our finances, and for our family. Sounds like you've got very similar goals.
Good stuff. Yep, we are headed towards that way, and just one property at a time, one rental at a time.
Yeah. So you just finished well, I shouldn't say you just finished. Sounds like you're just finishing up a deal, a multifamily duplex deal. Do you want to talk about that one a little bit?
Yeah, we can talk about that. So that was a purchase in Waynesboro. Actually, I didn't really expect to get it. We had $500 down on the deal. Well, kind of let me back up a little bit. We wrote, I started reading about this campaign where people take and they send yellow postcards or they write letters. And so we decided to go the very personal route, and we wrote a letter. We wrote 4 letters, and had our family name on there and had a picture of our family on there. And just we really targeted individuals, families who needed help, and they needed help out of their situation. And so 3 of them responded back. One was this gentleman that was in Waynesboro. He was having a hard time with the property. He was starting to try to do some repairs himself, but it was obviously, you could tell that he didn't have a lot of experience with it. He didn't have very many people helping him. And we were able to go in and help to purchase that deal for him. And then since we've been able to renovate that, it's a duplex, and each side now has 3 bedrooms, 1.5 bathrooms. The neighborhood is excited. Candace and I were over there working different times at 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
And the gentleman across the street, his name is G. He would come over and check on us, see how we're doing. He would actually bring food over to us. He was excited that we were in his neighborhood and to fix it up. This was the drug house. This was the meth house.
Yeah.
This was just the trash of the street.
That's a really big thing that really is satisfying, that you can turn these dilapidated properties around and make them, take them from a problem to like a super nice asset that the neighborhood improves around that. So I think that that's one of those things that come out of the efforts that we do, that is really, really a good thing for the neighborhood, the people there, yourself, the person that buys it, the person that lives there. It's something that makes you feel good at the end of the day.
Yeah, it does. So we were able to purchase it. We were able to help him out of his situation. In the process, gave somewhere around 25 to 30 people a job while they're there working on the property.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, we just signed our last lease last week, and tenants will be moving in at the end of this month. Provided a great home for 2 families that are going to be there. And it's just, it's good. The money, the cash flow is always nice. That's kind of why we're in the business for, but really the main reason is to help people. And I think the more people we help, the more we're rewarded in that. Yeah.
So I want to just back up just a little bit. You said you mailed out 4 letters. How did you identify the properties that you wanted to mail to?
So those properties, we went onto a county website here in Franklin County, and it was a foreclosure list. And then out of that foreclosure list, we were able to take and do a little more research into those properties, finding out, are there any liens against them? Are there any more tax holds against them? Just any that were there. And then finding that information, we just took that big list and just kind of whittled it down a little bit more, and just really targeted these 4 that we sent out. So I know some people do hundreds and mail them out, and we were just like, hey, let's just give this a shot. And
that's really amazing that you sent 4 letters and you had 3 responses. It probably,
3 responses.
Yeah, that's really amazing, honestly, because when your typical response rate might be like 2% when you mass market something like that. So you had a 75% response rate. But I think it goes back to you were really targeting something very distressed, and probably the letter that you sent was you and your family, and this is what we're looking to do. So people probably connected to that and wanted to see what you were up to.
Right.
Yeah, that's probably not something that you could build upon at a big level, right? But for where you are in your business, that's working. That sounds like that's great. Will you do that again? Is that what you're going to do next for your next property?
That is a possibility. We're really considering that, especially after kind of talking a little bit with James and Sophia after the last meeting. I know they have started to do some of that. So maybe not the 4 next time, but maybe try to send out 400. And,
there you go. There you go. Yeah, I think
try to shoot from there and get a little bit more.
That's really how you do it. Yeah. So what did the numbers look like on this deal? What did you pay for it? What did you put into it? What are the rents? You know, you're going to refi it out? How's that process looking?
Yeah, so right now we are in that process of refinancing out, but the purchase price was 15,000. We were just adding up the other day with all of the holding costs, the money that we put in for the reno. We're in about 220,000 for the reno, so that puts us all in at 235. We're looking at comps of around 250 to 260, so we're looking at somewhere around 200,000 taking out. So we'll have about 30,000, 35,000 left into the deal, which you try to get as much money back out as you can, but you got to let money. We have rent signed at 1,300 per side, and we're looking at a strong cash flow because everything is brand new roof, brand new HVAC, brand new everything. We don't have to set aside as much money for things breaking. So we're looking at a strong $800 to $900 in cash flow every single month that we can just take and put in our pockets.
Or put away for the next deal. How did you fund the rehab?
So we funded the rehab through, we actually went to the bank and got a construction loan, and they gave us a certain amount based on the ARV of what we thought it was going to be. And the bank did their research, and then they gave us a loan for that. So the big chunk of it came from them, then the rest of it had to come from us, actually through a HELOC. So really we don't, as far as personal money, I mean, there's none that's there. So just 35 at the end.
Did the construction loan, fund the purchase and the rehab?
Yes, it funded the purchase and part of the rehab. We had actually went ahead. We had already purchased it. We had this deal and we had another deal under contract. There was the title company had notified us that there was a loan on this when we first purchased it from a previous owner. This gentleman that had bought it, he had bought it from a tax sale, and he didn't know that there were this huge loan on it from a previous investor. And here that gentleman actually passed away, and then his wife had found out about these loans, and then she actually paid them off. And I was kind of surprised whenever I got a call from the title company and said, "Hey, we're ready to go to closing next week." I was like, okay. And that was good because we were actually just buying our first rental property in Greencastle, and we purchased them within, I think, 10 days of each other. So this one we had to let set for a little bit in order to get the one in Greencastle up and running. So
so it sounds like what I was going to say is that's kind of always been our strategy when we bought a multi or a duplex, to go in and do the rehab, as much of the heavy lifting up front as you could, to try to wash all that money back out when you do the refi, and then you have a pretty solidly a strong operating building where pretty much everything's new, right? So you're not looking at being nickeled and dimed a million times down the road. Everything is new, and you can put somebody in there safely, and you can kind of just like put it over there for a while and just let it operate and try to pull as much money out. Because when we buy things, we use private money, and we borrow everything. We borrow the purchase price, the rehab, closing costs. We borrow everything, and then we just put that piece into a rehab account, and then do the rehab from that, and then to get the building, leased up just like you did, and then go through the refi process, wash out that private lender, and then go find that next deal, or simultaneously do multiple deals. That's been the way we've always done it. But the point is to when you find that building, the more distress, probably the better deal you're going to get, but do all the heavy lifting up front. So that's a similar thing that we do with buildings we're going to hold. So how many units do you have, and where do you want to take this, portfolio in the future? Build it.
Yeah, so right now we have 5 units that are up and running. Great, I think great cash flow coming from them. Anytime you can get $400 to $500 per unit cash
Mhm.
flow coming in, after
Yeah.
all of your capex and maintenance
That's great.
aside,
Yeah.
it's really good. We're just hoping to keep building in that way. And it's interesting. We never, when we first started this, I remember having the conversation with Candace. She was really hesitant on rentals. I never knew anything about them. The
Hmm.
whole flipping business, rental business. I didn't know anything with this. I'm a full-time pastor. That's
Hmm.
what I do full time, and so I had to respect that with her. And our first 2 were flips that we did, and it was after the second one that we realized, because our margins were really thin on that one, that we could have made more on this if we would have held it as
Hmm.
a rental. And
Yeah.
after seeing those numbers together, it was like, oh man, hey, I think we need to flip to this. And so it's a pivot. Like, you just pivot
That's
at
right.
different points in your
Yeah.
investing career. But yeah, we're looking to just add more cash flowing properties and hold them, just like Monopoly, 4 greenhouses, 1 red hotel. So
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
keep collecting. And the goal for that is, not just to build, a big cash empire, but, eventually my wife wants to take and be able to give more time to our 5 kids at home and
Hmm.
our ministry here at church. We like to travel and take missions trips and just give glory to the Lord.
Yeah. I I love that. I think that when you talk about what your goals are, I think that it's important for people that watch this to understand that when your why is big enough, like the how shows up. It's if that's what you're working towards and that's what you really want, you'll find a way to get it done. And that'll be the thing that pulls you through the challenging times, because real estate investing, if you're going to be a landlord and you're build a portfolio, if you're going to be a flipper, if you're going to be a wholesaler, if you're going to be a realtor, it's all really hard. It's all really hard. And
Yes,
there's going to be days that really stink. And
you're right.
where you really need to be anchored is, why am I doing this? And what does that why get me in the future? And
That's
then
right.
in the end, try to get there as quickly as you can. So what we've learned through our journey is that we probably started too small and we should have went bigger. Instead of buying all these uh, single families and flipping them and duplexes and triplexes and things like that, we probably should just, instead, and then building up to 50 units, why don't we just go buy a 50-unit building? Like, I think going big, if you have the, if that's where you want to go, I'm not saying everybody should do that. Some people don't
Hmm.
want that, but if that's where you want to go, you should probably always go bigger and have a super strong why like you do. So I super respect that from you, that you've got these really good goals, and I think that's going to make a big difference. So what kind of cash flow does it look like to get you to the end, or not so much the end, but over that first mountain? We're,
Right. Yeah. So yeah, the first mountain for Candace. I mean, we're looking at a $2,500 to $3,000 cash flow, which we got to see how it shakes out here with the refinance. We may be close to that.
Mhm.
Definitely with another property, we would be there. And then yeah, say somewhere in the 8 to 10,000 category.
Yeah,
And say then after that we're on the fast track.
yeah, yeah. See where it goes at that point, right? You've hit that first mile marker, and you can push it. I think what we heard something early on in our investing career, and it was, go as far as you can see, and when you get there, you'll see further. So that's a cool
That's
phrase, and
good.
we've always kind of subscribed to that. So how has this, our group, the I81 Real Estate Investor Group, helped your business?
Yeah, it's been great. It's been good to go there, and really we like the topics and the speakers that come, but really the value is in the connections and the networking that you make, and just to be able to talk with people to see where they're at, but also, oh, hey, you know, I'm looking for this. I'm looking to refinance this. Hey, what bankers have you used? What have they told you? I believe that's who we got. I don't know if that was from you or maybe one that we were encouraged to go to City National, and we're working with Ian over there to help us with that. And yeah, just to hear the stories, just to connect. I think even more the last several, especially talking with Zach, has kind of flipped our minds on hard money, and just being able to do more deals in that way. And it just really helps to build that way. RIA meetings are fantastic to go for connection, and that's what the new investors need to do. That's how we got our first deal. We went into a RIA meeting in Hagerstown, and I ended up talking with a guy that was from Mercersburg, and the reason I talked with him is because that's where our church is, in Mercersburg. So I was like, okay, here's a connection. Went over and talked with him, and struck up a conversation with him on what he was doing, and he was actually looking at getting rid of a property, and that turned out to be our first flip that we did. And you know, it wouldn't have happened if we wouldn't have went to the RIA meeting. It wouldn't have happened if we wouldn't have made those connections. And that's the way it is at the I81. So just making those connections, talking with people, and you get a lot of information, a lot of deals passed around, and it's great. It's fantastic.
I can't imagine where our business would be without the group, and you know, all the networking we did prior to building that group. So it's been massive for us. That's why we started the group. So appreciate hearing that. How can this group help you in your investing journey?
Yeah, right now we are looking to build more cash flowing rentals, possibly a flip if there's a lot of meat on the bone with the changing market. But yeah, really cash flowing rentals. We are talking with some that are in the group that are offering them. Even open up our horizons. We're up here in Greencastle, and it seems like most of the folks are down there in Martinsburg, but we're checking that area out more and looking into comps and, hey, what's this look like renting down here? And so just we're looking that way, adding more cash flow properties.
Yeah, that's good to know. When people know you're open to more areas, you have more potential opportunities, obviously. But right now, your whole portfolio is like Greencastle, Waynesboro, that area.
Yep, Franklin County area.
And that's where you live too, right?
Yep, that's where we live.
Okay, good deal. Well, I think we've gone about 30 minutes here, so I hope that this has been helpful for you. I appreciate your time. It's always good getting to know our friends in the I81 Real Estate Investors group a little bit better. And thank you, Greg, and say hello to your wife, and have a great weekend. We'll see you at the next meetup.
Thank you, Bill.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Yep.
Okay. Bye. Take care. Bye-bye.